Good morning and welcome in on this Monday morning. Ping. It's telling me that I am now live. Let's turn the sound off on our phone. So good morning, and as I say, it's Monday morning here. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and we're going to have a bit of a play, and carrying on a little bit from Friday's theme, where we had a bit of a last play with some things that are now on the last chance list. Get them while you can. Once they've gone, they've gone. I thought we'd continue that. Morning, Caroline. And have a look at a couple of other sets that are on that list that we're going to be saying goodbye to. Now, there's so many beautiful sets on that list. It's sort of a bit like, oh, shall we go with that one, which one should we play with, what's still there, what's still in stock. But I've picked up the Good Morning Magnolia, mainly because as I stand here now and look across a couple of doors down, I can see their magnolia bush about to burst, full of bud, about to burst into bloom, and they're just beautiful, aren't they? So what better time of the year really to be thinking about the Good Morning Magnolia. So that is one stamp set and dies that we're going to be saying goodbye to. And I've also picked out this So Much Love one, which is one that was new last year, I think, but we're going to again be saying goodbye to. So we've had trees on Friday. We're going to have a bit of a play with some flowers today. Now, the Good Morning Magnolia is just stunning. The dies are, you can build these up into fabulous 3D magnolias, which we did sort of very early on, and there was the balloon punch when it first came out that you could use for another layer of petals, but really stunning, as I say. So you've got all of these dies that you can use to build up your fabulous 3D magnolias. You've got this nice sort of wavy die just here for borders. You've got your dies that will cut out your stamped images as well. You've got these little pieces here for your insides of your flowers. You've got quite a few leaves in there. So a really lovely stamp and die set. It was quite a wow, probably the first of the really lovely 3D flower. I think it was the first of the really lovely build-up 3D flower dies and stamps that came out. We've since had some more, of course. We've had peonies and poppies and various things, but this was the first, but we're going to be saying goodbye to it. So let's have a bit of a play before we do that. I think we'll get some shimmery white. This one really, you can colour it, it's beautiful with blends and things, but yeah, I think this one we're going to go with a bit of shimmery white cardstock, and we'll do a bit of water paint colouring, I think. Let me just, the wire on my phone appears to have got caught. I'm not going anywhere. Let me just grab my trimmer. So morning Beryl, morning Jackie, morning Em. I can see Em's face peeping up the top there. Morning. I'm sure possibly Thea may be there as well because the school holidays this week. Well, next couple of weeks in the run up to Easter. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. Do let us know if you did anything exciting. I had my first jab on Friday. So Saturday was a bit of sort of mainly feet up, binge watching Line of Duty actually. But just as I sort of felt a little bit sort of fluey and off, and then Mike had his first jab on Saturday evening, so he felt a bit fluey and off yesterday. So nothing too excited happened in this household over the weekend, and we just all were feeling a bit sorry for ourselves. But equally very pleased and excited to have had the first of our jabs and for that to be underway. Right, I'm going to take the big flower just because it is just so gorgeous, so scrummy. Now I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. It's a big stamp. It's a very big stamp. That's our biggest block, and it really does take up the whole of that block. So I think we'll bring in our Stamparatus. Let's lay our stamp on there. How would we like it to go? About like that. So I can bring that magnet up a little bit and bring another one in on the top here. Let's pick that up. Now, actually, I think I'm going to go Mossy Meadow, I think. I'm bringing my Mossy Meadow. I'm also going to bring in some clear embossing powder because obviously I'm going to watercolour this. So if I was to just do it with Mossy Meadow, as soon as I added some water, that would all blend in very nicely, thank you, with the colours that I'm adding with watercolour, which would not be, probably not a good look. So but it'd be quite nice to do it with green rather than black, I think. So let's pop this block under there for a minute, just while I ink this all up with my Mossy Meadow. Let's give that a good stamp. Oh, missed a bit in the middle there, so let's come in again with that. Give that a good press. Let's do it again in just that middle bit, just where we missed it first time round. Okay, now my Simply Chamois is still dry, so I'm going to do something that I don't do very often, and that's bring in a baby wipe to clean that Mossy Meadow ink off of there. Let's grab a bit of kitchen towel and blot that, because then put the lid back on there for a minute. I'm going to pick up my Versamark and I'm going to ink this up with Versamark. I could have been very brave and just flung some clear embossing powder on the Mossy Meadow, but I want to ensure that I do catch it. So let's come over the top with some Versamark. I think we'll do that once more for feeling, because we really don't want that ink leaking too much when we come to put our watercolouring on it. Okay, clear embossing powder. Make sure I picked up the clear one and not the white one. But my box is well marked with clear on the side and the top, so there's no danger of having put the wrong lid on. well, there's a danger of putting the wrong lid on, but I should still be able to pick up the right one, even if I've put the lid on back on the wrong one. Got to double check there. Clear on the top, clear on the side. So clearly it's the right embossing powder. Let's just move that to one side for a minute. Bring in our heat gun. Or something quite sad, isn't there, about sorting out your retired stamp sets, Angie? I haven't done it yet. I haven't started putting them to one side yet. Right, so let's come on over here and let's heat our clear embossing powder. And of course, once that's embossed, it will act as a resist against the watercolour. It means we've got a nice green outline rather than the more solid black, because our other alternative would have been to have done this with stays on, or we could have gone and done it with gold embossing powder or silver embossing powder. But we have gone for an embossed mossy meadow image. Fabulous. Right, let's have a look. Let's have some petal pink. Let's have our mossy meadow. Let's have some. Let's have a bit of seaside spray. There's something else we're going to be saying goodbye to, obviously, as an outgoing in colour. We'll have a bit of let's have a bit of crushed curry, I think. Okay. Morning, Michelle. We're playing with flower sets that are going to be retiring. We played with trees on Friday, so we've gone to flowers today. To take, I think I'll come with the medium brush to do the leaves. So let's come back with our mossy meadow and give that a bit of a squeeze. That went a bit further than I intended it to. And let's lay down some green. Obviously, the fact that we have embossed over that stamped image means that we're going to retain that. Morning, Sarah. We're going to retain that detail in terms of the line. That's not going to go anywhere. Had we not embossed it, that line would have disappeared a little bit. But you can always go in with some more ink and add in a bit more colour. And put this top leaf just here. Magnolias are so beautiful. They're so short-lived, aren't they? They're sort of almost here one day and gone the next, but while they are here, they are just beautiful. obviously just there. We've got a bit of clear embossing powder that has come over the edge, but that's okay. We've got a bit of a highlight there. The sun is shining on that leaf. We're not going to argue with that. We're supposed to be getting some really warm temperatures over the next couple of days. It's supposed to be really quite spring, almost summer-like. Which will be very lovely. So there we are. We've painted in some green. You might find as that dries, we might want to go in and add a bit more in places. I think I will just bring in a little bit of soft suede. It's just this sort of twiggy, branchy bit. Right, I'm going to swap my brush over now to the thin water brush. And we'll come in, squeeze a little bit of water in there. Let's come in the centre with some crushed curry. Just take that out a little bit. And I might actually give that a bit of a blot just to tone it down a little bit. And let's squeeze the colour out of that. And then we'll come in with some petal pink. Morning, Joe. That a good squeeze. That's better. Right. Oh no, I don't want that one. I want this one. Let's pick up some petal pink. Just sort of drag that out a little bit. Actually just tap that onto the edge of that block. I'll use that as my palette. It's a bit brighter. Drag that colour out from the centre to a sort of fairly pale outer edge. A bit of green just there. Now I'm going to go in decisions. What colour would I like? little bit of melon mambo, I'm going to add quite a bit of water to it. A bit more of a blush just in that middle piece. Just a little. Good old kitchen roll. It's always good to have a bit of something just to blot up excess when you're watercolouring. There we are. So we've just added in that slight blush just there. Now squeeze that water through so until it comes through clear. To go back to a slightly wider brush and some seaside spray, of course another colour we're going to be saying goodbye to, but let's add in some water just there, mix that round, and let's just put in some sky. Now the fact that we have clear embossed the edge will mean there is a little bit of a barrier between the colour of the flower and the leaves and the background, as long as you don't flood it too much with water. Around here. And obviously if you were doing this at home, you would be taking a lot more time and a lot more care than I am. I think we're going to miss this seaside spray, particularly for these sorts of things, but we have a beautiful range of colours, so we will find alternatives. Balmy blue is another good one for putting sky in the background. If you want a bit of a stormy sky, you could always use something like smoky slate. And of course there's no reason why you can't mix colours. There's no reason why you couldn't mix a bit of balmy blue with smoky slate to create your own sky. Right, so there we have our flower with our watercolour wash sky. Some petal pink on my shopping list, I think. That's a bit tatty, that one. It's been knocked about a bit. What have I done? Oh, looking all over for my trimmer. I've hung it up where it's supposed to be. No wonder I can't find it. Let's bring this to 14.4 by 10. I don't. Obviously this is still very damp. If you were doing this, you'd probably leave this to one side to dry off a bit. To bring in some of the mossy meadow braided linen. Thread. Let's have some of that so we've got it to stick round. We might do a bow, we might not, we'll decide in a minute. Let's stick that down first. Hi Glenda, yep, fine. I was saying earlier I had my first of my vaccinations on Friday afternoon. So I haven't felt like running a marathon over the weekend, but it's good to have got it done. A day of feet up on the sofa binge watching telly was certainly a price worth paying. Let's thread that through here. So we haven't gone for full-blown 3D magnolia. We've gone, but we have taken that big bloom and watercoloured it. Let's come in with a few little champagne rhinestones. And then, say, in amongst you, you've got this big flower, you've got little leaves, got some nice greetings, enjoy today, thinking of you. So you've got thanks, not only for what you do, but for being someone so special. You've got the journey of life is best shared with a friend, we'll get through this together, thinking of you. Some really nice sentiments in there. What shall we have? I'm going to go thanks, I think. No, let's have enjoy today. Nothing like indecision, is there? Let's go with enjoy today. And bring in the stays on, I think, for that one. Particularly as it might still be just a tad wet. So if we brought in an ink that was no, we might need to put another rhinestone on there. It's not wanting to stick to the block. It's got a bit of fluffy stuff on the back of there. we'll add another couple of rhinestones. Just to make it a odd number. And then so I'm just digging about, looking to see. I'll get some white cardstock. And let's create a white card base for that. Or nothing like indecision. Yep, I think we'll go a mossy meadow card base. Oh, we've got a little bit just there, sticking out. There we go. So we have a magnolia, watercoloured magnolia. It's just such a beautiful set. I'm going to have to open the back door. We have a bit of a power surge going on here. Oh, the joys of growing old. In a minute I'll probably be cold and need to go and shut the back door, but for now let's have a waft of fresh air. Right, so there's one of our cards, one of the stamp sets that we are very sadly going to be saying goodbye to. But you sort of have to hold in balance the fact that if we kept every single stamp set, the catalogue would be so enormous we wouldn't be able to pick it up. So we do have to say goodbye to things so that we can say hello to new things. But just make sure that if you love this stamp set, you get your hands on it before it disappears, because once it is gone, it's gone for good. It won't be coming back. So if you want magnolias in your life, get your hands on there. Yeah, it needed the green, didn't it, Sheila, just to make that pop. But yes, so if you need the magnolias in your life, make sure you get that in your basket. Now the other one that I thought we'd play with is So Much Love. And I thought we'd play with that along with some paper from the Artistry Blooms set. This is such mad colours in here. Beautiful. Beautiful papers. I think, no, not quite big enough. Let's take this green and we'll cut ourselves a background out of green. Then I think we'll take that one, and I think we'll do a bit of paper piecing. It's always good fun to do a bit of paper piecing. So let's cut ourselves a piece of this. That is, thank you. Whether I'm also sort of, whether my temperature is still a little bit up following my jab, that doesn't help, does it? I don't need anything to add to my temperature. So that's 9.5 by 13.9. I'm going to take the big image here and we'll have that, and we'll stamp that directly onto that green paper. Oh, let's try getting that the right way around, shall we? And I think we'll do that with Memento. Or shall we? No, I think I'm going to go garden green. So let's have that coming across the centre there. Beautiful. Right. This bit of kitchen towel has been used to death today. Right, I'm going to take my centre flower bit here. I will take Memento now. I'm going to ink that up. Actually, let's ink up that whole set because I want those buds as well. And let's do that across the bottom here, so we get a little bit pink, a little bit sort of orangey yellow. Let's take our snips and chop that bit out of there to start with. Now we're going to need these little buds. And this one. I think there's a little bud just hiding in there, look. Let's have that one too. Don't want to leave any buds behind. So that's going to sneak in just there. Then we've got these two buds here. Just snipping round them. Make sure I don't waft them anywhere. So obviously that one's a little bit pinker than the ones on the bottom. But hopefully the flower will come across both colours, and we'll bring the two shades together. Let's cut out our big flower now. So not difficult to cut out, it hasn't got any really fancy edges. The sort of white lines down this are sort of always, as I was just looking at it, I thought it looks a bit like when your printer's running out of ink. Who knew that could be a design feature? I'm sure that didn't happen. I'm sure they didn't get right to the end of designing the paper, went to print it off, and then the printer was going out of ink, and they thought, oh, do you know what? I actually quite like that. I'm going to leave it. Send it to print. So there we have our big flower that's going to come across the two. We've got our leaves just here that we've stamped in green. I'm going to come in with a watercolour pencil, but I think I'm going to pop it through the sharpener first. So 1 minute while I just, strange noises in the background as I pop that through the pencil sharpener. So we'll come in with our garden green watercolour pencil and just add in some shading on those leaves to help them pop out from the background a little bit. Oh, I've missed. Have I missed? Oh no, that is my little bud. I thought for a horrible minute I'd missed one of my buds. But I haven't, it's just there. Stay there, little bud. Let's come down here. We've got lots of sirens whirring around outside. That sounds like it's not a good start to a week for somebody. And come on round here. And again, as with the watercolouring, if you were doing this yourself at home, you could take lots more time and care about your shading. Go in and add a bit more highlighting if you wanted to with it. I just wanted to help those leaves pop out a little bit from the background. Let's glue our little flowers in place. So obviously, as always, pretty well all of the papers are going to be retiring. So you'll find all of the papers on the retiring list, with the exception of the in good taste ones, which are all those really useful sort of wood backgrounds and things. Brilliant for backgrounds to cards. Brilliant if you want a backdrop to to photographs. Last but not least, our little bird in there. Where'd you come? So there's all our flowers tucked into that background. What greeting shall we have with that one? How about a here for you? I think I quite like that. So I'm going to do a granny apple green card base. And then we'll take the soft sea foam and we'll bring that down to make it that first size mat. You could just feel that stamp on the back of the stamp on the back of the trimmer. That's how they get themselves lost, isn't it? So that's a here for you. Let's see if we've got a little oddment of soft sea foam somewhere. I'm sure we have. And let's grab garden green again, as that's what we used for our leaves. Here for you. Let me just grab my bigger scissors, just because it's still a bit wonky. Wonky donkey. Okay, let's have a look at ribbon and things. So let's start by sticking this onto here. we'll catch up soon. Jackie, is it nearly time for disappearing? Let's wrap this round here a couple of times. Now, if we had all the time in the world, we could have gone on and paper pieced another couple of blooms and built those up. Had sort of some tucked behind there. We'll put a couple of dimensionals underneath that. Come off. Back doesn't want to come off that one. Excuse me. Don't know why. Let's try a different one. That's better. That coming there like that. Let's trim that off. And then I think the other thing I'm going to do is, in this stamp set, is a little spotty stamp. I love these sorts of little stamps. So let's come back with our garden green. And let's add in a few spots in that background. And decisions. Just going to put a few little rhinestones, I think, for a bit of shimmer and shine. What did we do with that white card base? It's just there. Let's pop that on there. So rather than colouring that in with pens or ink, we've coloured it in with paper. Did we want to go? Do you know, actually, I'm going to pop that off of there. I am going to stick with the original plan of the Granny Apple Green one. Yes. Yes. The white won't go to waste. We will find some love for that somewhere else. So, saying goodbye to some of our flower sets. So the Good Morning Magnolia and the dies that go with it, and the So Much Love. And it just goes to show that all you need is a stamp and some paper and some ink, and you can soon create gorgeous things. So I hope you've enjoyed those, and we will be back on Friday, if not before. So have a fabulous week, everybody. So I am allowed to use them. Sorry, Caroline, I've just seen Caroline's. Am I allowed to use them? I am allowed to use them, but for things like this, obviously, you know, part of the reason that I do this is to encourage you and show you what's available that you can buy. And if you can't buy it, that's very frustrating for you as well, because if I'd done a gorgeous card and you all went, I really want that stamp set, and I went, we can't get it anymore, that's a little bit frustrating. So yeah, so absolutely you can keep on using them, and I can keep on using them as long as I like, but in terms of promoting them for people to buy them, that doesn't make any sense really. So it's sort of goodbye from Facebook Lives, if you like. But very much keep on stamping as far as everybody's concerned in their craft room, but just make sure that you've got it if you want it, because once it's gone, once it's sold out, it will be gone, and after the end of April it will be gone anyway. So it is your last chance to get your hands on these beautiful stamps. So have a lovely week, and we'll see you later in the week.